So what is self-sabotaging? What in the world is self-sabotage?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Hi friends, you're welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Uchechi Jessica and I'm so excited to have you back once more. Today we're going to talk about self-sabotage. What is self-sabotage? Well, before we go into it, let me give you the highlights of today's topic. First, we'll learn what is self-sabotage, what is sabotage, outcomes of self-sabotage, behaviors that are self-sabotaging, causes of self-sabotage, and finally, steps to overcoming self-sabotage. Do well to watch till the end, give this video a thumbs up if you like it, and subscribe for more content. Thank you. So first off, we'll start with defining self-sabotage. It is simply a way of thinking or a behavior that holds you back and stops you from achieving what you want in life. Self-sabotage is a way of thinking or acting that prevents you from achieving success in life. Personally, I define it as the subtle art of categorizing oneself as undeserving of the good life. What is sabotage? The word itself is the deliberate act of destroying or damaging one's efforts to achieving success. It is the intentional behavior that one puts up in order to prevent or tarnish their efforts towards achieving the good life. What are the outcomes of self-sabotage? There are two major outcomes of self-sabotage, and they are regression and regret. Of course, regression, because once you sabotage your efforts to achieving progress, you are definitely going to regress. Yes, everyone wants to be happy in life, everyone wants to progress, but then when you put up these behaviors that keep undermining your efforts for success, keep undermining your efforts to achieve success, then you are definitely self-sabotaging. And this will cause you to regress. Another one is regret. Regret is a negative emotion that comes out of feeling sorry for something that did not go well. Feeling sorry for the wrong that has actually occurred, that maybe was not within your powers or was maybe within your powers. But then regret is a negative emotion, and it opens up doors to every other negative emotions like fear, pain, hurt, sadness, and all other melancholic feelings, which can also lead to depression and even worse things. So these two are the consequences of self-sabotage: regression and regret. Next, we're going to look at what are the behaviors that are self-sabotaging. Well, there are 6 major behaviors that are self-sabotaging, and these ones I like to see them as the basic behavior because almost everybody can identify with one or more of this behavior. They include blaming others, procrastination, difficulty stating your needs, starting a quarrel or a fight, self-pity, dating the wrong persons. I want to do some sort of attribution to the source where I got some of my information, and that is healthline.com. It is a really helpful source, and I hope that you could go and get more details about self-sabotage and how to overcome it. Well, let's go back to what we were talking about, and that is the behaviors to self-sabotage. What are these self-sabotaging behaviors? And tell me, why do you call them self-sabotaging? Well, some of these behaviors are such that once you start acting them out, they restrict you from meeting good people or better people that would enhance your life, because no one wants to engage themselves with people who have attitudes or behaviors that are antagonistic. These 6 behaviors are tagged self-sabotaging because then they restrict you, they prevent you from achieving success. The first one is blaming others. This could be in the workplace or in the home or maybe with your friends. Sometimes things go wrong without having any cause. So things can just go wrong without necessarily having anybody or anything to attribute blames to. Things could just go wrong just because that's the way it is. Alright? So blaming others or having the tendency to always attribute blames to other things or other people can be very self-sabotaging. When you blame others, you take yourself away from the zone where you can be able to think out solutions to how you can solve that problem. Another one is procrastination. As we all know, procrastination is the delay of the execution of a project or a program, delaying it to a later date. Okay? So instead of you to do it just now, just do it, just like Nikki, you procrastinate, you shift it to a later date, and you keep shifting it, and then it can actually sabotage your efforts to make success. Because of course there is a task that you want to achieve, there is something that you want to achieve, and you have already made plans on how to achieve it. Just for you to start execution, you start to procrastinate. So procrastination can sabotage your efforts to make success in life. Another one is starting conflicts or picking fights. Starting conflicts can actually happen in the home or in the workplace. If you always have these tendencies that whenever you're in a conversation with someone, you tend to always look for something wrong in what they say, nothing can go well with you. In fact, you are always out there to pick fights or to find out something that is wrong in order to antagonize them. Maybe in what people say or in what they do, instead of you to correct them, you always have this way of fighting or conflicting with people, always being at loggerheads with people. The next one is self-pity. What is self-pity? It's a state of mind that makes you to feel that you are less of something that is worthy. If there is a standard, you feel you are less of that standard. You become ashamed of yourself. Yes, self-pity can make you become ashamed of yourself. You have shame, and then you feel unworthy. You feel unworthy of love or of anything good. So because of self-pity, you undermine your efforts to achieving success. Because with self-pity comes every other negative things like self-doubt and all. And self-doubt is not good because it's definitely going to make you feel like you are not capable of doing something that you have even trained yourself to do. So self-pity is really a self-sabotaging behavior. Another self-sabotaging behavior is dating the wrong persons. If you find yourself always with the wrong people, especially as a partner or a significant half, and you find yourself you're always attracting people that are wrong for you. An example of someone who is wrong for you is perhaps someone who takes drugs, someone who does hard drugs and gets so high that he starts to physically abuse you or emotionally abuse you, or do things to cause you emotional pains. Yet you still stay in that relationship with such kind of person. Or after you have survived that relationship with that particular person who was emotionally or physically abusing you, you still go ahead to accommodate someone else. Your next relationship will still be someone else who is like that person, who has those tendencies of abusing you physically, or of just destroying or damaging your efforts to being happy and living a successful life. So yes, dating the wrong person can actually be very self-sabotaging. And the last self-sabotaging behavior that I have for you today is difficulty stating your needs. Some people say they have this difficulty stating their needs because they don't want to beg. Mind you, there is a difference between begging and asking or requesting. When you have a need, perhaps you need help to understand how to do something. You need help to understand a course or understand how to use a software. You can just simply ask. You don't need to beg. You can request politely using the magic words, please and thank you. And you would get what you want. Asking for assistance is very good because then if you do not ask for assistance, that need you want to solve will not be met. leaving you in a position where you cannot move forward, you cannot progress. And if you do not progress, you regress. And of course, it is self-sabotaging. The next thing I have for you today is causes of self-sabotaging behaviors. As we have already seen all these 6 sabotaging behaviors, I also want to tell you that there are some causes to these sabotaging behaviors. They did not just happen. You started being self-sabotaging because there are some things that caused them. There are some things that led to them. Of course, for every action, there is an equal or opposite reaction. So it's not really your fault. It's not really your fault, necessarily your fault. But then it's a cause. What are the causes of self-sabotaging behaviors? There are 3 major causes. These 3 main causes are childhood patterns, childhood behavioral patterns, the fear of failure, and the need for control. I'll start with the childhood patterns. What are these childhood patterns? As a child, as a baby, underaged, it took you several years, I think from the age of from 0 to 16 years, to inculcate these behaviors of crying when your needs are not met, or when you are hungry, or when you need attention, you cry, or you throw temper tantrums. Yeah, temper tantrums. Throwing temper tantrums is very common with children because then they need attention, and because of that, they sometimes they throw tantrums. So these are childhood behaviors that were relevant while you were a child, during your childhood. Now you're an adult, they are no longer relevant. Of course, every adult you see there, anywhere you go, in your office, at the workplace, at the market, at home, your neighbors, in your compound, wherever you go, in the college, in the university, these adults did not just become adults, they were children before, and because of those behaviors, that behavioral patterns they had adopted during childhood, it still plays out during adulthood, and they can be really self-sabotaging because they are no longer relevant. Those behaviors are no longer relevant. So you have to relieve yourself consciously of those childhood patterns. Crying when your need is not met, or crying when you are hungry. As an adult, if you cry because of something is going wrong, I mean, that's not the best approach, right? Maybe you cry in your closet, but then the best approach is to find a way to fix it. Children do not know this. They don't know. But you as an adult, you know that you are in a better position to fix a situation that is going wrong. Okay? So the best thing to do is not to cry. Is not to throw temper tantrums. Is not to be annoyed or angry. Instead, is to find ways to fix the problem. Another one is fear of failure. We all are afraid of failure. No one wants to fail. Of course, no one wants to fail. So because of that, we avoid failure. We avoid mistakes. And in fact, some of us go to the extreme point of not doing anything. Some of us will say, since I know this is going to fail, no need trying. It will just be a waste of time. It will just be a waste of effort and money. And I don't have such resources to waste. So I would not try. That is self-sabotaging. Because once you take that decision of not trying because you know it's going to fail, you limit yourself. You shut the doors of success. Overcoming the fear of failure opens you up to the possibility of achieving success in that thing. Success in that thing could be getting more money. It could be meeting better people that will open you up to better opportunities. It could also be having career advancement, reaching an advancement in your career. So these fear of failure can be one of the causes of self-sabotage. Another one, which is the last one we're going to mention as the cause of self-sabotage, is the need for control. We all want to be in control of our situation. No one wants to, live a life that's out of control. We all want to, stand a chance to determine the outcome of things. But you have to take note of the fact that not everything will go as you planned. You cannot always be in control, even though you really want to be. So the need for control sometimes makes people to determine the end of something even before it comes to the end. Okay, for example, they see this relationship is going so well and also rosy, and because of the fear of failure, they start to look for ways to end the relationship. That's why sometimes in some relationships you see someone just says it's over. No reason, no excuse. That's the worst way to end a relationship. But people do it. And it's mostly because of the need for control. That person wants to be the one who calls the shots. Because the person is just afraid that this thing is going to end anyway. It's going to end anyways. So why wait for another person to end it? And when they do, I would feel bad. Instead, let me end it so I'll be in control. People do this. People love to be in control of their situations, and because of that, they sabotage their efforts of getting happiness, because that relationship is definitely making them happy. They see everything is going on well, but then they are afraid that it's going to crash. So they better crash it or end it even before it ends. So yeah, the need for control can also be a really self-sabotaging behavior. That's all about causes. Now we'll move on to the next subtopic, which is ways to overcoming self-sabotage. We have to find out the ways to overcome this. In fact, this is the most important section of this episode. This is the most important section because this is where we're going to learn how to, become better, how to get past these sabotaging behaviors and become better and live a more productive life and live a more fulfilling life. So I outlined 5 of these ways to overcome self-sabotage, and they are: identify the self-sabotaging behavior. 2, identify the triggers to these behaviors. 3, get comfortable with failure. 4, talk to someone. Talk about it. Okay? Talk about the behavior. And the 5th one, which is identify what you really want from life. Alright, so I'll take them step by step, one after the other, and you would understand how to overcome self-sabotaging behavior. Trust me, if you put these steps to action, you're definitely going to make results. You're going to make tremendous results that will help you to shape your life and become better. The first one is identify those self-sabotaging behaviors and stop them. How do you identify them? Take a self-analysis. Examine yourself. Remember Socrates, the very wise philosopher, said, "An unexamined life is not worth living." What do you do with your time? Spend time with yourself and examine and re-examine yourself. Analyze yourself like a film or like a book. Because of course, life is a book. Please give this video a thumbs up if you like it and subscribe for more content. Thank you.
Time fly.